I just picked up the car from the specialist, and oh wow, this is absolutely fantastic. So the engine is tuned up now, and it responds so much better to throttle position and throttle movement. Like if I push in the gas now, oh my god.
Today is another big day for the MGB because, as I said in the previous video, the engine still needs a little bit of a tuning, because right now when the engine gets hot, it develops a little bit of a stutter, like the engine starts to be hesitant upon acceleration. That's not really a good thing. It makes the driving experience a little bit less fluent, and it's just something which needs to be fixed. Now, in the previous video, I also said that the car would go to the specialist in like the next week. But we had a few delays, and it's now like a few weeks or even a month later. So we're going to drive the car there today. It's probably going to stay there for a few days, and then next week probably I'll go and pick it up again, and then it should all be fixed. This particular issue can be caused by a multitude of things. Maybe the carburetors need a tune-up. Maybe the spark plugs just need to be changed. Maybe the ignition leads are old and need to be changed. He's also going to tune the valves, and well, it can be just a number of things. Maybe the coil is bad. You can see it right there, the coil. So it can be a multitude of things. He's going to check all these different things and make sure that everything is working correctly and that everything is set up perfectly for this particular engine. So it's going to be very nice to get the car back and just feel that it's driving perfectly again and that the engine is very, very happy. And I know that I probably could have done a few of these things myself, but I wanted to get someone involved who knew these cars or who knew these engines very well, because for all I know, I could be making it worse rather than better. So right now I can ask the guy afterwards, like, what did you do? What fixed the problem? I can learn from him, and then maybe if I have a similar situation in the future, I can just use that experience or his experience to fix the problem myself. As usual, that went extremely smoothly. This car fires up extremely fast, and well, it's always just a pleasure if your classic car or old-timer fires up straight away after sitting for a while, and this thing does every single time, so that's very good.
Time that I drive the MGB, I'm basically reminded by how fun this car actually is to own and drive and work on. I mean, the mechanics of this car are pretty simple. It's from the 60s, or it's designed from the 60s at least. So that makes it quite simple to work on. Parts are readily available, and I think almost everyone has one or even more specialists quite close to them that can help you with working on the car, or that can give you tips or do certain things for you if you can't do them. And that makes owning an MGB really, really fun. And I think sometimes they are a little bit underappreciated, but they have a lot of potential and they drive very, very well. Like, the steering is extremely sharp. I bet that if you compare it to a lot of other classics, right after driving an MGB, you would be surprised too by how sharp the steering of this car actually is. And yeah, overall, it's just a fun car to own and drive, and I'm really happy that I can work on one and have my own adventures with it. Driving for about 30 minutes, something like that, and we are nearly there. I think we should be very close.
Hello again. It's been about a month since I brought the MG to a specialist who was going to take a look at the engine and make sure the carburetors and the ignition timing was set correctly. And in that time, a lot of things have happened, not only to the MG, but also to the garage where we keep the MG in. Because we had a wall here in the garage which had a little bit of water damage, but that has been fixed. The guys are still finishing it, which means that the MG cannot come back here just yet. We'll have to bring it to some other place. Now, in terms of the MG itself, it did get a tune-up of the engine. The carburetors are tuned, the ignition timing is set, everything from like the coil and everything has been looked over and is now working perfectly. The ref counter has been overhauled. They haven't put some relays on the electricity system to make it more reliable and just more safe overall. Just a bunch of things have happened, and I'm very, very excited. So one of the most important things is that the engine can now breathe better because there are some K&N sports air filters on the car, which is very, very exciting. I think that's going to make a very good combination with like the Tourist Trophy exhaust. So that's one of the most exciting things. And I'm very excited to be reunited with the car and drive it again, because I think it's going to make maybe a small difference. I'm very curious to see how it drives now. So let's pick up the car. It will be dark when we get back, so I'm going to try and film a little bit of my journey home, but we'll do a proper walk around and a proper test drive in a few days or weeks time when the weather is good and when we have a bit of time to actually go out and have a nice drive.
I just picked up the car from the specialist, and oh wow, this is absolutely fantastic. So the engine is tuned up now and it responds so much better to throttle position and throttle movement. Like if I push in the gas now, oh my god, it sounds so good, and it reacts almost immediately. It rests through the entire ref range like there's no tomorrow. It's an absolutely amazing little engine now, and it's a lot of fun to drive as well. The most important part is that the stutter is gone as well. So this car, after I mounted the Tourist Trophy exhaust, it used to have a stutter when the engine got hot, so that's gone as well, which is obviously a very, very good thing. But most of all, it just wants to go all day and all night long, and that's absolutely fantastic. Between 2,700 and 4,000 RPM, that's where this engine comes alive. That's where all the torque is, and well, it's a lot of fun to drive. As I said, unfortunately, it's dark already, so we'll have to come back, revisit this test drive at a later point when the weather is good and when it isn't dark, and then we can do a proper drive, listen to the engine properly, and do everything we need to do. So I'm going to drive back home, put the car away, and we'll come back at a later day. Let's enjoy the sound and the torque a little bit more. I'm going to downshift. Such a torquey little engine, it's crazy. If I ever change the camshaft and go for like one that is a little bit sharper, the power band should go up a bit, and that should improve power in the higher revs. So yeah, that would be pretty amazing. And let's listen to the engine one last time, going up into the revs. Oh, that's pretty fantastic. I just can't get enough of the new sound of this car with the Tourist Trophy exhaust. It's absolutely fantastic.